Thank you so much for joining our talk show today. It's a big honor to have you here with me. I'm already feeling your enthusiasm and your energy just in your arrival.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Weber, for inviting me here. It's really humbling for me.
So, would you mind telling me a little bit about your company, Gudgudee?
Yeah, so Gudgudee is essentially a design firm that specializes in creating innovative playgrounds for children. So we go beyond the typical swings and slides and create play elements that integrate something to do with sound, with smell, touch and visuals. So this is how we make them inclusive. So in the sense where children with and without special needs can play together. So by making them sensory, by integrating all of these sensory elements of sound, smell, touch and visuals, we enable children with a limited sense also to play. So even if a child is visually limited, he can play with sound, with some physical elements or anything else. So same holds for all of the other senses as well.
Nice, interesting. So I'm wondering, I'm very curious, how did you get the idea or the concept to start this company?
So well, it started back when we were students at NID, National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad. It is a design school in Ahmedabad. So me and Anjali both were studying furniture design there. And as a part of the course there was this one module called Design for Special Needs. Where we had to study population which has needs which are different from the majority of the population. So it could have been anyone like pregnant women, old people, special needs children or anyone. So we chose children with special needs, and as a part of the course research we used to go to this Blind People's Association in Ahmedabad and sit through the classrooms of children with special needs there. They not only had children with visual limitation, but they had children with all kinds of different needs, and they were all housed together in that one small school. So while me and Anjali would go there for like almost like a week, sit through the classrooms the whole day. And during that process, we realized that the children never went outdoors to play. So that came as a real shock to us, because for us and for anyone we knew, like going out and playing was like a major part of your childhood. All your memories were associated with that. All your friends were made in those playgrounds. And here is one set of children who have never gone outdoors to play. They had a lot of indoor activities. The teachers had created almost like a world inside their classrooms, but still outdoors was still a dream for them. So we sort of inquired why is that, and we got to know two reasons for that from their parents and teachers. One is that existing playgrounds are unsafe for them. So, you know, like existing equipment does not really allow them to play. And second, even more graver problem was that there is a huge stigma around disability. So even if the parents did try and take them outside to play, they're not always very kind comments. Some children are rude and all of those incidences, and that deterred them from going outdoors. So that led us to think that how can we solve this problem, and as a classroom project that it was, we thought of creating an inclusive playground where children with and without special needs, like in the school itself, so that their siblings can also come and play with them, at least start with the siblings if not everyone else. So our first instinct was, you know, let's make playgrounds safe for them. So by putting seat belts and railings onto the existing equipment, so that the children don't fall off and it's just safe for them. But then we quickly realized that if we did that, then other children would never come here and play, because it will make it more exclusive for them. It will make it more something that's only for them, and we didn't want that, and that would defeat the point altogether. Therefore, we started looking at why do children play at all? Why is there a need to play? And we realized that play is a really important part of the childhood, of course. It's nature's way of developing a child's brain. It's as important as that. It's as important as education. And at every age group, there's a different kind of play requirement. And while playing, children are developing their gross motor skills, their fine motor skills, their balancing, they're learning social skills, they're making new friends, they're negotiating, and all of those skills are learned in a playground. So when playgrounds and play teach you so much, then why are our actual spaces restricted to the swings and slides? So we started backwards. We thought, okay, what else can be in a play area? And then we came up with this idea, and what was supposed to remain in our laptops and computers as a project, we showed it to the administration of the school, and they really liked the idea. And Mr. Praful Bhai there, he said, okay, I will fund this. And the next thing we knew was that that project was funded, and we made our first inclusive play area. So that was very exciting for us. Yeah.
Yes, wow. Is that one of your proudest moments, to see that your possibility became a reality?
Yes, it was something that set us off this journey. Like, we were students and we didn't imagine that something of this can also be done. It made us believe that if you believe in your idea and if you really want it to happen, it will happen. You just have to walk that mile. So it was, I think it was like the first thing that set our journey forward. Yeah.
That's amazing. I congratulate you on your hard work and in believing in this vision. So where was the school that you did your first design was implemented?
It was in Ahmedabad.
So after you designed it, what was the result of design? I mean, how was the impact on the children? Were they able to participate fully successfully?
Yes, I mean, yes and no. I wouldn't say it was a complete success, and I wouldn't want to I don't know what, but it had its shortcomings. We were also students, but what it enabled was, I mean, the proudest moment came when we saw the children using that, and we were doing a photo shoot, and you know, one of the kids there, he would never speak. He had MR, and he would never speak in the class, and he went to one of our telephone pipes and he spoke there, and his mother was astounded that how, like, someone who would never take the initiative. Of course he could speak, but he would never take the initiative of speaking in the playground because there was no one forcing him to, or there was no pressure. He did. So that really, you know, those kind of little stories really made our day, and I think made some impact as well. In terms of design, there were some design flaws. I wouldn't say it was perfect. We have built on that, but it became like the first park there, and it was replicated in some of their other centers also.
Wow, that's touching. It gave me absolute goosebumps to have you just share the story about this little boy and his mother. And were there any challenges when you started the company itself? Or did you experience any challenges?
Yeah. So when we started, we didn't really think too much. We just started. We didn't have a business plan. We didn't have any view of how marketing will be and what the finances will be or anything. So it just started with 10,000 rupees that our parents just put in our bank accounts. And of course, one was our limitation of how we could think about the company. Another one was that people are very used to playgrounds being out of a catalog. So whenever we think of a playground, we think of a swing, a slide, a merry-go-round, or a seesaw. Like there is no other mental picture of that. So to go to the customers and tell them that there could be something else than that was challenging them in a lot of ways. Because they're used to getting it from the catalog. You just order, it comes to your place, it will get fixed, nothing else, they don't have to worry about here. And here we are saying that we will design for you and we will take this much time, it will require so much money and all of that. So it was challenging their entire system of thinking. And then on top of that, we are also telling them that we are going to build it inclusive. And for them, that was never in their priorities or their radar of importance or anything. So in the initial years, we are still doing that. There's a lot of customer literacy that has to and had to happen. But now people are getting it more and more because they have seen some completed projects and then they've seen some impact of it and they know it works. So now it's easier to convince them. But back then, because we had nothing in our at our backs, so it was very difficult to convince that yes, invest in this space.
Right, I can see that, I agree. And what keeps you motivated? What keeps you, I mean, you've worked through 30, 35 projects, which is great. So what keeps the passion going?
I think it's a larger vision. Our larger vision is that every neighborhood playground that comes is inclusive. So no one has to put an extra thought that it has to be inclusive. By default, it should become inclusive. So our idea is to make inclusive playgrounds a mainstream idea of how right now, for example, you have phones with the camera inbuilt in them and no one thinks about it twice, right? So the inclusive aspect should become inbuilt in the playgrounds and no one should have to think about it twice. So that's our vision, and I don't think we are any closer to that with just 35 playgrounds or maybe 100 playgrounds also.
Right, okay. What's the best part of being an entrepreneur?
I think
in your journey?
I think the learning that we have had. I think it's how me and Anjali, we have evolved. I think we have learned so much and we are completely different people from what we were when we started and now. And I see that there's so much more to learn. So it has also brought a lot of personality changes in us because we had to push ourselves to get some things doing. Like, for example, speaking about our work wasn't something that came naturally to us. We would do and shut up about it. But if you have to run a business, you have to talk about it and you have to talk positives about it and you have to sell it to people. And you can't do if you're just, if you're not speaking about it. So it requires a lot of personality changes also.
Wow, right, that's true. If you were to write a book about your life, what title would you give it?
I think it would be Play is a Serious Business.
That makes sense. Yeah, I like the name. Have you ever considered designing playgrounds for adults that are inclusive?
Oh yes, that would be my pet project. I would really love to do that. I don't know why, like people do not think that, like even us, we would also love to play, but if you go to any neighborhood playground, you'll see that children always come with their parents, their grandparents, their older siblings, and you will see that apart from the children, you will see the parents and the grandparents also on the swings. So that means that they also love to play and would love to be on the swings or something like that. So why not create playgrounds for adults as well? I mean, we are all, I think, stressed in our lives, and it's a common saying that in like 15 minutes of laughter and play builds better bond than an hour of a conversation. So I think it might be a great way to bond with others as well.
I believe it. I believe it can happen. I think if you design it, I would join. I would show up ready to play. You just need to let me know where and when, and I will join. We know that children spend a lot of time using their iPhones, their iPads, and technology, various technologies. So it looks like there's less time for them to play on the playground. What are some of your concerns, or what are your thoughts about that?
Yes, technology has become a big part of our lives, and even for children, children are spending more and more time on their iPads and phones and everything, digital medias, than ever before. I'm not denying that there's a lot of learning value that is inbuilt in them as well, but some of the activities like maybe just climbing up a tree, or balancing on a balance beam, or jumping, these physical activities generate new neurons in your brain, which cannot be done while tapping on an iPad or a phone or anything like that. So play has its own real importance, and that cannot be replaced by any digital media. Of course, we can enhance the play experience through technology, but replacement is not really possible, and therefore it also puts a lot of importance on creating more creative playgrounds where children are more motivated to play, that they look as interesting to them as their iPad or any other digital media. So the challenge also comes there, that we have to make newer, more interesting play spaces which encourage children to play rather than the traditional one perhaps. Also, another thing that bothers me is that while we are talking about all this technology of artificial intelligence and all of those, there's still playgrounds that cannot be accessed by children, by differently abled children. So you see there's this huge gap there with all this technology and our neighborhood spaces. So it just is mind-boggling for me of how that exists still. Yeah.
I agree. I understand you totally. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come and join me for the show and sharing some of your challenges and your experiences in your journey, and a great deal of gratitude to you for being here today. Thank you.
It's been a humbling experience for me. Thank you so much, Vaibhav, for inviting me. Thank you.